There's something almost indescribable about people who grew up in the 1970s. Something in their posture, their silence, their calm, their stubbornness, their sense of responsibility. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it just is. A generation shaped by freedom and danger, adventure and neglect, love and toughness, and a childhood that would get any parent today questioned, if not arrested. But if you really zoom into their psychology, if you peel back the layers, you'll see why they think differently, why they argue differently, why they distrust easily, commit deeply, and survive quietly, why they carry a kind of strength the modern world rarely produces. Because people born in the 1970s didn't just grow up, they built themselves. The world they grew up in. There were no cell phones, no GPS, no instant messaging, no way to track a child's location or mood or heart rate. You had a bicycle, some dirt roads, some bruised knees, and a rule that meant everything and nothing at the same time. Be home before dark. That was it. No safety precautions, no gentle check-ins, no anxious parents hovering over you with sunscreen and reminders. You left the house in the morning, and for the next 6 hours, you were a ghost. Unreachable, unmonitored, unprotected, and free. Psychologically, that changes a person. It builds an inner compass, a sense of, I'll figure it out, even when you're clueless. Because that's what every 70s kid had to do. Figure things out without help, without Google, and without the luxury of falling apart. And the strange part, they didn't think life was hard, because they didn't know anything different. The generation that raised them. If you want to understand someone born in the 70s, you have to look behind them, at the people who raised them. Most 70s kids were raised by parents who survived World War II or who were born during its aftermath. Imagine being raised by someone who had seen real hunger, real fear, real loss, real desperation. Imagine growing up with a father who went to work no matter how sick he was because rest wasn't an option. Or a mother who didn't talk about her feelings because she never learned how. These parents weren't trained in emotional intelligence. They were trained in survival. They didn't say, I'm proud of you. They showed it through working 3 jobs. They didn't say, I'm worried about you. They showed it by expecting you home before the street lights flickered on. They didn't say, I love you. But everything they did echoed it. And this shaped the 70s kids in a very specific way. They matured early. They learned responsibility without a lecture. They carried their own weight. They didn't wait to be rescued because rescue wasn't coming. Strength didn't come from lessons. It came from watching adults survive silently. And the unspoken rules they grew up with. There were rules in the 1970s. Unwritten, unspoken, understood without explanation. If something breaks, fix it. If something scares you, try it. If something hurts, don't cry too much. If you fall, get up. If you don't know how, figure it out. And whatever happens, don't complain. People from the 70s didn't grow up in a world of comfort. They grew up in a world that expected solidity. That expectation followed them into adulthood. It's why they're dependable without trying. They're calm under pressure. They don't panic quickly. They don't quit easily. They don't need validation. They don't chase approval. It's not because they're superhuman. It's because their childhood didn't give them the option to be fragile. What they saw that modern kids don't. Picture this. A father fixing a broken appliance with nothing but a toolbox and patience. A mother carrying the weight of a house with no shortcuts, no automation, no microwaves at first. Neighbors helping each other because community wasn't a hashtag. It was survival. People showing up, not posting it. Adults dealing with real problems, not digital ones. This was their classroom. They saw real work, real exhaustion, real responsibility, real sacrifice, real community, real consequences. Not through lectures, through life. Through daily exposure. No filters, no distractions, no escape through screens. Just real life, raw, imperfect, demanding. And that shapes a different kind of human.
The bridge generation. People from the 70s are living paradoxes. They are the bridge, the ones who span 2 worlds. 1 foot in the old world, slow, quiet, tangible, grounded, real. 1 foot in the new world, digital, fast, overstimulated, loud, nonstop. They understand a life before the internet and a life drowning in it. They remember boredom, silence, patience, outdoor play, risk-taking, creativity without screens, relationships without texting, waiting without anxiety, walking without headphones. They remember the world before everything sped up. And that's why talking to them feels different. They carry an instinctive calm, a groundedness, a presence, a confidence rooted in surviving childhood, not scrolling through it. They don't need to impress you. They don't need to prove anything. Their value system is older than the algorithm. The new generation, and the contrast. Now look at the kids born after the 2000s. They grew up with phones in their hands before they could form complete sentences. Notifications, videos, messages, comparison, constant stimulation. Their brains have been sprinting since childhood. Ask them how they feel and they'll say tired, overwhelmed, stressed, burnt out, falling behind, distracted, never enough. Not because they're weak, but because they're overloaded. The modern world gives them everything except what the 70s gave in abundance. Space, silence, unsupervised imagination, time, risk, freedom, stillness. They have information, but not grounding. Connection, but also pressure. More opportunities, but less resilience. More stimulation, but less inner calm. Their world moves faster than the human nervous system was built to handle, and they're growing up in it blindfolded. The 70s kid walked into the world alone with the bicycle. The 2000s kid walks into the world with a million voices in their pocket. Who had it harder? That's the question, right? People from the 70s dealt with danger, responsibility, silence, independence, and real physical risks. People today deal with mental exhaustion, overstimulation, comparison, pressure, and digital noise. One generation had to survive the outside world. The other has to survive the inside of their own mind. Both struggles are real, both difficult in different ways. But strength, confidence, self-reliance, depth, those belonged to the 70s generation long before anyone gave them a name. The question for you, so tell me, which generation do you think had it harder and why? And also, are you from before 1980 or after it? I want to know where you fit in this story. If this made you think different, hit subscribe, leave a like, and join the community.